Okay, that's better. So what our issue is, you see all that rot. I mean, it's not horrible. I've seen worse. But the problem is, even though the fuel pump was all gummed up and completely restricted by, gummed up fuel and some pieces of rust, just flushing this tank out is not going to be enough to secure this guy's safety on the road. As soon, Harleys have extreme vibration from the V-twin. You hit a bump, start the bike's running. This is going to flake off and clog the fuel filter or the fuel system, right away again. It could be a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. But the tank reseal kit will take care of that. Get rid of our woes and save you from spending $800 on a painted tank, even more or even less. I had a Ducati I had to do this on. The tank for that bike was almost $2,000. So again, I'm going to walk you guys through the process. It's relatively easy, but you have to follow the instructions to a T. So let's get started. So what you're going to need to complete this process is a tank resealing kit. Normally I've purchased the POR 15 tank resealing kits, which have worked great for me. This gentleman found this kit at a local Harley part shop, and they said this is one of the best kits that we have, and I did some research and it comes to check out. So this is a Northern Radiator motorcycle fuel tank liner kit. It comes with a few things. Let's check out what they are. So this is our fuel tank prep. This is our fuel tank cleaner. And this is our fuel tank liner. So I didn't read the instructions yet, but from past experience, I'll tell you this is pretty much how it works. The first item we're going to use is a fuel tank cleaner. It's a degreaser. We're going to fill the tank with it right through the top after we put tape on the bottom, tape off all the holes. And we're going to slosh it around. Make sure that any grease, oil, fuels are removed from the tank. That's very important. When you're going to be doing the sealing kit, it has to be real clean. Sometimes I put change inside the tank too, quarters, dimes and stuff. Okay, step one. We're going to use our fuel tank cleaner. Unfortunately, all I have is electrical tape. Duct tape does work better. But you want to cover up any open holes, orifices, any open hole you have, you want it covered, because we're going to be sloshing this around the tank to clean it for 15 minutes, shaking it back and forth. And then once we're done shaking it for 15 minutes, we will drain it and have to rinse it out with water multiple times. I'm also going to throw some change in the tank with this too, just to break some of that stuff free. Again, that's not in the instructions, but from my personal experience, it has helped out a lot. So let's get started. Oh, it's coming out the holes in the bottom already. You've used degreaser in it already to get any residue off of the inside of the tank. Is to cycle water through it to get any of the degreaser out, any other debris or rust, which we're going to do in the sink. And after that, when the tank is dry, we're going to use metal prep. Let's get to it. All right, the final step, now that the degreaser is done, the tank is clean, Pour 15 metal prep was used, which gives a zinc coating to the inside of the tank so the paint will adhere to it. I don't have an air blower, so I'm using I use paper towels. I was able to get my hand inside to make sure it was somewhat dry, and I've been using my heat gun to make sure that it's dry and get any condensation out. And after I'm satisfied with the heat gun, that it's dry inside, last step is adding the fuel tank liner and rolling the tank around. Make sure that it gets every edge and make sure that it doesn't puddle. It's also very important you make sure that you have all your openings taped up, because that paint is super strong, and any paint that gets in the outside of the tank, good luck getting it off. All right. I went in there with a flashlight. You make sure that all the walls are evenly coated. You don't want any pooling. Again, pooling is going to be very hard to dry. It could take days, even weeks to cure, and it makes it compromised. So you don't want any pooling. Thankfully, this is a big enough tank where I use this whole entire can, and there isn't a pool anywhere. But every 10 minutes or so, I just flip the tank in another direction, make sure that everything is coated as evenly as possible. And that's it. This is a different kit than I normally use. This is a Northern motorcycle fuel tank kit. I'm not sure what the cure time is on this paint, but I've used the Pour 15 repair in the past, and the cure time was like 48 to 72 hours. Again, it's not something you want to play with, because if you put fuel in too early and it's not dry yet, the whole process is totally bunk and you have to start over again. So I'm going to let this dry for probably 2 days, 3 days, and yeah, that's it. Another healthy repair, and save this guy from having to buy a $800 or $1,000 tank. Any questions? Comment below or message me.